Thank God it's Friday. It's January 2nd as we look outside this Friday morning in America, courtesy of EarthCam. We're saying hello to Brooklyn, New York, Gaylord, Michigan, Fort Myers, Florida, and Atlanta, Georgia. I hope you have a great weekend planned and one that includes spending time with family, friends, and loved ones. I'm Nick Smith. Welcome to our NewsNation headquarters here in Chicago. It's time for Morning in America and news for all Americans. There were a number of stories to break overnight that we need to jump right into, so let's get started. With all the unrest in Iran right now, President Trump says the U.S. is locked and loaded, who he's ready to protect in case the protests and violence continue to escalate. Also, is Venezuela's president, Nicolas Maduro, ready to talk? After months of deadly U.S. strikes on suspected drug boats and the CIA reportedly taking out a dock inside the South American nation, Maduro is now saying wherever and whenever, when we could see talks about drug trafficking, oil, and migration. Plus, a mixed bag for Americans and some popular prescription drugs. The White House has been pressuring drug makers to lower what you pay, but some are actually going up. A look at what will be cheaper or more expensive at your next trip to the pharmacy. And if you have squatters, this man will use his sword to get them out. He says he's the #1 squatter removal service and even has 5-star Yelp reviews to prove it. But first this morning, President Trump sending a new threat to Iran amid chaotic protests that have turned deadly. At least 7 people have died, and protesters and police clashes have become more violent, with scenes like this playing out from big cities to small villages. Now the U.S. and Iran are trading threats as President Trump suggests America could step in. NewsNation's Tom Dempsey has the latest from the White House. Tom, good morning.
Hey, Nick, good morning from the White House. Yeah, President Trump saying that the United States could go into Iran to protect protesters as some big demonstrations take place across the country. In a post to Truth Social overnight, President Trump posted about this, and we want to show you what he wrote, saying, quote, "If Iran shoots and violently kills peaceful protesters, which is their custom, the United States of America will come to their rescue. We are locked and loaded and ready to go." At least 6 people, Nick, have been killed in clashes with police as protesters across Iran protest against a rough economy, reportedly even chanting for a regime change at times. Over a dozen more people have been injured. And despite the government declaring a holiday and shutting down earlier this week, protests grew across the country. We will note, too, that a member of Iran's National Security Council alleged without evidence and accused the United States and Israel of fueling these protests. Nick?
Tom, President Trump ramping up pressure on Venezuela, but President Maduro says he's ready to negotiate?
Yeah, some really interesting comments coming from the Venezuelan leader who spoke in a recent interview saying he'd be open to working with the United States to combat drug trafficking and take on oil investments. Take a listen.
The U.S. government knows, because we've told many of their spokespeople, that if they want to seriously discuss an agreement to combat drug trafficking, we're ready. If they want oil, Venezuela is ready for U.S. investment, like with Chevron, whenever they want it, wherever they want it, and however they want it.
Maduro went on to say that Venezuela can take on drug traffickers itself. He did not address President Trump's claims that the U.S. struck a port facility allegedly used to store drugs, instead saying he may address it in the coming days. The U.S., though, has not let up its strikes targeting suspected Venezuelan drug boats. President Maduro's comments come as over 100 alleged drug smugglers have been killed in strikes in the Eastern Pacific and the Caribbean. The Venezuelan president calling the strikes illegal and questioned the goal of the operation, saying, quote, "It is evident that they seek to impose themselves through threats, intimidation, and force." The New York Times reporting Russia has asked the U.S. to back off the chase for a Venezuelan oil tanker, and it refused to be boarded by the Coast Guard. The U.S. has seized 2 Venezuelan oil tankers in the past. Nick?
Tom Dempsey at the White House. Tom, thank you so much. Well, the scope of the staggering Medicaid fraud in Minnesota still isn't fully clear. Investigators are working to determine just how much taxpayer money has been stolen, and new allegations now expanding across state lines. NewsNation has been on the ground since the very beginning reporting on these cases, and while prosecutors have identified 14 different programs used to defraud Medicaid in Minnesota, NewsNation may have found a 15th. Brooke Schaefer joins us now with the very latest. Brooke, good morning.
Hey, Nick, good morning to you. Most of the focus has really been on these daycare centers, the fraud surrounding them, brought into the spotlight by YouTuber Nick Shirley. But NewsNation found assisted living facilities could also be taking advantage of this scheme as well. NewsNation's Rich McHugh uncovering in Minnesota that the state is paying millions of dollars to assisted living facilities owned by a man indicted for money laundering. And even though that man is personally facing charges, his limited liability company still owns multiple properties that now operate as assisted living facilities. His wife runs them. And get this, those facilities got over $2 million in state money last year. The Minnesota Reporter claims the man awaiting trial, Gandhi Mohammed, has been paid nearly $50 million by the state over the last decade. These new allegations come after several Somali American-owned daycares were accused of being a front this week and stealing taxpayer money. ABC Learning Center, seen here, has denied the claims, saying they are open and telling local media in Minneapolis they're now getting death threats. The Trump administration has demanded answers to the alleged fraud and this week paused federal child care aid to all 50 states, a move that has advocates worried and some daycares and families in limbo. HHS says these centers need to prove the money is being spent properly. Minnesota Democratic Governor Tim Walz says he has worked to stop fraud for years and has accused President Trump of making this political. Nick?
Brooke, the amount of money is absolutely staggering, $50 million. Brooke, we know that many federal agencies are involved in the investigation, and now HUD is joining the hunt as well?
That's right. The federal investigation is expanding now. HUD Secretary Scott Turner told Fox News his team has launched an investigation into public housing authorities in the state.
We want to make sure that we're being good stewards over taxpayer money. So these investigations are going on right now from a HUD standpoint. And to the president's point, we have to root out this fraud and abuse and this waste, because this is hard-working American taxpayer funds, and there's been criminal activity going on, and so we have to root it out.
A HUD official told the Washington Examiner last month, along with investigators in Minnesota, in D.C., they will be reviewing data from Minnesota's public housing authorities to ensure that federal housing programs are not being defrauded. And Nick, late yesterday, the Small Business Association announced that it is also suspending nearly 7,000 borrowers in Minnesota who took out some of those COVID-era loans. The SBA said the agency identified nearly $400 million in potentially fraudulent loans in Minnesota alone. Nick?
And the investigation continues. Brooke, thank you so much. Millions of Americans thought their prescription drug costs would be lower this year, but now pharmaceutical companies are reportedly planning on raising the prices of hundreds of medications. Reuters is reporting at least 350 popular medications will see a price hike. Chances are you or someone you know will be paying more. NewsNation's Ryan Bass joins us now with the very latest in this. Ryan, this is not news anyone wants to hear if they're going to be paying more when they get their prescription drugs.
No, it's certainly not the news that you wanted to hear, Nick. And look, this seems backwards and contrary to what the Trump administration has been trying to do here. And this administration has struck deals to lower prices for a lot of government programs, but a majority of Americans aren't covered under those agreements. And remember, drug makers are the ones that, get to gauge the list prices for drugs here. And increases every year are common, even amid political pressure from President Trump and his administration. Now, this is a lot of drugs. We're talking about hundreds of drugs that could be going up in cost here. Drug makers plan to raise U.S. list prices on at least 350 brand-name drugs, according to data first reported by Reuters. Among the most prominent drugs facing price hikes this year, Pfizer's COVID vaccine and antiviral treatment, a Pfizer breast cancer treatment, migraine medication, Nurtec, GSK's shingles vaccine, and hospital-administered pain relievers like morphine and hydromorphone. Those prices are expected to jump about 4% on average for the second year in a row, though that's down 5 points from what we saw a decade ago. Pfizer leads the list with hikes on about 80 medications, including cancer, COVID, and hospital drugs. In a statement, the drug maker says that those price hikes are below the rate of inflation and will help cover rising costs and research. That despite President Trump saying the company would lower costs for all Americans.
Pfizer has agreed to provide some of their most popular current medications to all consumers at heavily discounted prices of anywhere between 50 and even 100%. And that's off the price.
Now, some of Pfizer's most popular drugs have seen their prices nearly or more than double over the last decade. And even newer drugs like COVID treatment Paxlovid will see their prices climb this year here in 2026. And that's despite Pfizer and 13 other drug makers agreeing to most favored nation pricing under a new Trump administration policy, meaning Americans would pay the lowest price drug makers sell their products for globally. It's something the president recently hailed as a huge win for consumers.
This represents the greatest victory for patient affordability in the history of American healthcare by far, and every single American will benefit. So this is the biggest thing ever to happen on drug pricing and on healthcare.
And Nick, several of the companies that agreed to most favored nation pricing are still raising their costs here into 2026. It's also worth noting that a lot of these projected price hikes don't factor in rebates or discounts that drug makers often negotiate behind the scenes as well.
Either way, this is something we'll definitely have to keep watching closely. Ryan, thank you so much. Now to more headlines we're following closely this morning. Frightening new video emerging from that fire that killed nearly 50 people and hurt 112 others at a New Year's Eve party in the Swiss Alps. This eyewitness video appears to show the moment the fire broke out, the ceiling catching fire as people start to scramble, trying to get away out of that inferno. Many of the injured were teenagers and young adults celebrating the start of the new year. A criminal investigation is underway, but officials say terrorism has been ruled out, saying it's still too early to say what actually started that fire. This is being called one of the worst tragedies in Switzerland's history. The U.S. is urging Beijing to end its military pressure against Taiwan and turn to meaningful dialogue instead. The State Department reaching to Chinese military drills surrounding the island this week. China views the self-governing island as part of its sovereign territory and has vowed to bring it under its control, making it a major flashpoint in the region. The U.S. says it supports peace and stability and opposes unilateral changes by force or coercion. Last month, the U.S. announced it was selling Taiwan more than $11 billion in weapons. A woman in Colorado was dead, believed to have been killed by a mountain lion. Wildlife officials say it happened Thursday on a popular trail in Lemire County. Hikers found that woman with a mountain lion about 100 yards away from her. They scared it off, but the woman was already dead. Officials euthanized 2 lions after tracking them. The last time a mountain lion killed someone in Colorado was back in 1999. Well, New York's new socialist mayor vows a new era for the Big Apple. With his first full day on the job now under his belt, a look at Zohran Mamdani's top agenda items and how he hopes to make it a reality. And this guy isn't cosplaying the service he's providing to people who are struggling with squatters, and he's working with more than just samurai swords.